Hello guys, I am Adiola. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time of coming here, I say welcome. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back once again. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some parts of this beautiful gown that you are seeing on the screen. And if this sounds like something that you are interested in, please kindly wait to the end of the video. And I'm very sure that you are going to get one thing or the other that will be helpful for your fashion journey. Thank you, and let us get straight into the tutorial. So the first thing I will need to do is to cut that full flare that we have underneath. This flare depends on how full you want it to be. So I want mine to be really full. So I'm working with 2 trousers of material for this down part. So you are going to mark the radius of your flare. That is your waist circumference divided by 6.28. Then you're going to mark it like you see me doing here, and just go ahead and cross check and be sure that it accommodates your waist circumference plus your zipper allowance. Don't forget that it is a full flare. Now after I've done that, the next thing for me to do is to mark the length of my flare. The first thing that you are going to be doing is you're going to be raising up your tape like you see me doing here, and the waist of this person is 17 inches. So I raised my tape by 17 inches and I went ahead to mark the full length of my gown. The full length I'm working with is full tape rule. So you need to know that cloth has to be very long if you don't want it to have joining at the down part. So I just go ahead, place my tape like you see me doing here. I place that 17 on my waist radius and then mark the length of my flare. Just place your tape rule like this all around, making sure that everything has a very nice and curvy edge. So after doing that, the next thing for us to do is just to go ahead and cut out the flare. Okay, so after that, I have already cut out my basic bodies like you see in this video. I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut basic bodies. So I just placed my front panel on the back panel and I cut it out like you see me doing here. Now I cut the first side of my back panel and I'll just go ahead and cut the other part, making 2 pieces for the back panel. So the next thing you have to do is to cut a very long strip that will accommodate the length of your flare. So for this tutorial, I make use of 5 inches. So by the time I fold it, I have 2.5 inches. Okay, so that I'll use the half an inch to join it to the down part out to the each side of my flare. So I just cut it very long enough to accommodate the center of my flare, and I cut 2 pieces. Remember, it has slit in the front. So now I need to cut that facing on the front part. So the next thing is just to place your front bodies on the fabric like you see me doing here. Fold it in such a way that your shoulder will be accommodated and then the down part of it. So I'm just going to pin the bodies to it like you see me doing in this video. Just carefully pin the bodies together. Now you move to your front area. Make sure that the shoulder is well relaxed before you start cutting. Now you go to the front area, cut the shoulder the same way, and then the neck area, you are going to cut out the same V-neck that you have on the basic bodies. Okay, you cut the same V-neck on that pattern that you want to place on it. I mean the other fabric, the flower crepe that I want to use to combine this particular style. So I'll just go ahead and cut the neckline like you see me doing in this video. Now after cutting the neck, go ahead and cut the shoulder the same way. After cutting the shoulder the same way, you can now lift the front bodies off the cloth. So once you have lifted that from it, the next thing to do is to mark the width of this particular facing. I want mine to be as wide as 2 inches after stitching. So I'm going to be marking exactly on 3 inches so that by the time I turn with half an inch for the neck area and half an inch for the folding of that side, because I will top stitch it eventually. So I will be cutting on 3 inches. From the neck depth, I'm going to come down by 3 inches also. I'm going to be connecting it like you see me doing in this video. Make sure that it gives that shape, because when you get to this corner side, it will look as if it gives a kind of curve, and that is the beauty of the style. It must all be 3 inches all through to the shoulder. Now I'm going to be cutting it out after locating the exact point where I want it to be. So just go ahead and cut it out, just the way you see me doing in this video. Now if you notice on the style, we have like a waistband, so I'll just go ahead and cut the waistband. The wideness that I want to use is still the same wideness that I use for the neck area. Okay, so I cut it in such a way that it will accommodate my waist divided by 2, so that I can cut it into 2. One side will serve for the back and the other will serve for the front. Okay, now the next thing you have to do now is to go and add your interfacing to everything, both the neck facing and also all those bands that you have to add to the waist, and even the center front of your flare. So I need you to pay good attention at what I want to do presently. You're going to take the center of that flare that you have folded into 2 and you have ironed it out. You place that ironed area together like you see me doing in this video. Then go ahead and pin it. So from the starting point, you are going to mark your slit length. So for this person, I'm working with slit opening of 20 inches. Go ahead and mark it. So your stitching is going to start at the end of that stopper where you stop for your slit. So make sure that you double stitch that end and then go ahead and join that center. Now the next thing is to cut out the center of your flare so that you can replace that place with the flare crepe that we joined earlier. Okay, so I will mark 2 inches at the center and I will mark it all around from the top to the down part. So guys, when you are cutting, make sure that you have excess fabric, and if you know you don't have enough fabric for your flare, you can just cut off just 1 inch and use that center to substitute. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Just go ahead and cut it out like you see me doing in this video. Now the next thing for us to do now is to move to the sewing part of this particular style. You can see that the flare has been divided into two right side facing right side. Now the next thing that you will do now, look at what I have joined earlier. Look at it. I joined it earlier. Now when you want to pin, start pinning from the down part, which means the slit area. And the reason for doing this is so that the slit will align. Okay, so pin from the down part so that the slit will align, because if you start from the upper area, the slit may not align. So just pin one side of the crepe to the other side of the plain crepe and stitch it down. Do the same thing to the other side, making sure that this is in the center. Now the next thing for us to do, I have ironed out all my darts like you see here. I'll just go ahead and stitch them both for the front and for the back. You need this on crepe, you need to iron it out, especially for the bust dart, so that you won't make a mistake. Now I've ironed everything out, so let's go to the stitching part. After stitching down my darts, I have ironed my darts, also stitch my zipper allowance. Then I'm going to join the crepe to the down part of my upper bodies. Let me tell you something. When you're cutting the upper bodies, you need to subtract this particular waistband from the usual length. This person's waist is 17, so I have to minus that 2 inches from the waist so that I will replace it with this crepe. I hope this is clear enough. So I will join the two back like you see in this video. I will join it with quarter or half an inch depending on the allowance that you had to use, but I added half an inch, so I'm just going to go and be joining it. Then I will grab the one for the front too. Don't forget that the front is always longer than the back length. our back does not have bust. So if your waistline for the front is 17 inches, automatically when you remove like 1 inch or 1.5, the back will be shorter than it. So for this person, the waist measurement for the back is 16 inches, and for the front she has 17 inches. So this is what we are working with. At times it could be shorter, or 16 inch, around 16 inches, so that you'll be able to eliminate any zip bulge. Okay, so I will just place this band on it too, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it down with half an inch. When you want to turn this neck area, just place the right side of the facing on the wrong side of the bodice, and then stitch it on half an inch or quarter of an inch. Then you are going to use your iron to carefully turn it over like you see here, and then iron it to relax. So after joining the waistband to the upper bodice, I have carefully placed my back panel on my front panel, and as you can see, like I told you, the center back is shorter. So I will just go ahead and shape the bodies. So the next thing to do is just to join the upper bodies down to the lower bodies, and we are done with stitching the bodies together. So guys, for the full sleeve that you see on the video, I have a detailed video on how to cut that sleeve. You can watch it. If this video has been helpful to this moment, please give me a thumbs up and also comment and like. Thank you guys for staying tuned. I am going to see you in my next video. Thank you and God bless you.